Hi, I'm Troy from Studio 33 Guitar. Thanks for watching. And today we're looking at how to play the classic song Wonderwall by Oasis. Now this song has become almost like a rite of passage for guitar players. If you're a guitar player, you really need to know how to play Wonderwall. It's even become a little bit of a joke that a lot of guitar players only know how to play this one song. But there's some great parts to this song that'll be really helpful, especially if you're a beginner. The song uses some really basic chords, and if you've watched some of my other videos, these are the chords that I talk about a lot. In fact, I have a video that's called the 4 most important chords to know, and those chords are included in this song. The song also includes a really cool walk down pattern that sounds like this. And that's something that's included in a lot of songs that you'll come across. So as a guitar player, it's really important to know how to play that. So we'll have a look at that as well. The hardest part about this song, if you want it to sound exactly like the original, is going to be the strumming pattern. But I'm going to show you a couple of easier ways to strum this song that'll still sound great. And as usual for these song lessons, you can get the PDF copy of the chord chart on my website, studio33guitar.com. If you want to play this song in the original key, you will need to have a capo on your guitar. If you don't have a capo, you can still play this song using these same chord shapes. It'll just sound a little bit lower than the original. If you want to get a capo, you can order one from Amazon, and I'll put the link in the description below to the one that I normally use. So let's zoom in on the neck and have a look at how to play Wonderwall by Oasis. We're going to talk about the timing and the strumming of these chords, but first let's just walk through the first 4 chords that we need for this song. One of the things that I really like about this song for beginners is there's 2 notes that are going to be exactly the same through the entire song. So you're going to actually have 2 fingers on the same notes for all the chords that we're going to play. And those 2 fingers are going to be your pinky and your ring finger, and they're both going to be on the 3rd fret up from the capo, pinky finger on the highest string, and your ring finger right above that. And those 2 notes are going to stay there throughout the entire song. So that makes it really nice and easy for making your chord changes. The first chord that we're going to play is an E minor 7. So with these 2 fingers down, all we're going to do now is add our index finger and our middle finger. And they're going to go on the 2nd fret of the A string and the D string. The next chord that we're going to use is a G major chord, and all we're going to do for that is move our middle finger up to that low E string onto this G note, the 3rd fret. So everything else stays exactly where it is. You don't need to move those. So it's just the middle finger up and over, and that gives you a G major chord. From there, we're going to go to a D sus4 chord, and for that one, again, these fingers are going to stay right where they are, and we're just going to move our index finger down 2 strings, and the middle finger can come right off. Now we're going to play only from the D string down. And the last chord that we need for this first section of the song is an A7 sus4. Now that sounds complicated, but all we're going to do for this one, we're going to move our index finger up 1 string and then put our middle finger right where the index finger just was. And for this one, we're just playing the top 5 strings. Those first 4 chords are what you're going to use for most of the song. So the entire intro and most of the first verse will have those 4 chords in that sequence. So each of these chords is going to receive 2 beats. So first, if we do a really simple strum, just down strums, 2 strums for each chord, that would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that would repeat. So I would suggest that first, get really comfortable with just making those chord changes, memorize that pattern from the E minor, G, D to A. Once you're comfortable with making those chord changes with your left hand, then you can start to make things a little bit more complicated with your strumming hand. Now if we want to start adding in some upstrokes, we can do a simple strum like this. So for that one, we're just adding in an and a after 2 and after 4. So that's 1, 2 and a, 3, 4 and a. And the upstroke is coming in on that So the rest of them are all downs. So you got down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and a 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and a. For this next one, we're going to add another and a after 3. So that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a. And a little bit more up to speed, that would sound like this. So for the intro of this song, you're going to play those 4 chords in that order 4 times through. And you're going to play those same chords once the singing starts for the entire verse. And you're going to play the sequence 3 times. Again, if you print off the PDF from the website, it'll be a little bit easier to follow along. But at the end of that 3rd time, you're going to go to a C add 9 chord. So let's zoom in and take a look at that one. The nice thing about the C add 9 chord is that it looks exactly the same as that G major chord that we played earlier, except the index and middle finger are just down 1 string each. And for this chord, we're only going to play these 5 strings. Now, typically what I do is I will use my middle finger just to nudge up against that low E string to keep that from ringing. And so then that way you don't have to worry about missing that E string. You can actually strum it, and your middle finger will be blocking it so that it's not making a sound. After that C chord, you're going to go to that same D sus4 chord that we played earlier. And both of those chords are 2 beats. And then we go to that A7 chord again. And this one is going to be played for a full 4 beats. So the C chord gets 2 beats, that D chord gets 2 beats, and then that A7 chord will get 4 beats. So altogether, that last line of the verse would sound like this. And here's that C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we move on to verse 2. This is where he sings backbeat, word was on the street. This one is played exactly the same as verse 1, except we don't go to that C chord for the last line. We just play that same sequence, E minor, G, D, and A, one more time through for verse 2. And then we move on to what we call the pre-chorus. And let's have a look at that. Now the pre-chorus is where he sings about all the roads we have are winding, and that starts on that same C add 9 chord. It's going to go to a D chord and then back to that E minor chord. We're going to be playing 2 beats on C, 2 beats on D, and then 4 beats on the E minor. So that'll sound like this. And then that's going to repeat. And then one more time. Now here, instead of going to that E minor, we're going to go to G, and this is where we're going to do that little walk down that I was talking about in the intro of this video. And that looks like this. And as I mentioned in the intro, this is a very common walk down that you'll find in a lot of songs, so it's really good to learn this. So we start with this G chord, and then we're going to move down to a D sus over F sharp. And that's just going to look like this. Our index finger is going to move up to the E string. That's an F sharp note. And then our middle finger, where we did have it on the G, it's now going to come down and it's going to go directly below the index finger, but 2 strings down. And again, these 2 fingers are going to stay right where they are. And that gives us a D slash F sharp chord. Now, typically what I will do with my index finger is just make it lie a little bit flat so that it is resting on that A string to keep it from ringing, because we don't really want that string ringing out. The other ones we do, but your index finger can just lay down on that A string just to mute it out. And then you're going to play all 6 strings. And from there, you're going to go to the E minor chord, and this is going to be a really easy change. All you have to do is bring your index finger down 1 string, your middle finger up 1 string, and that puts you back in that same E minor shape that we were using earlier. So for that walk down, you're going to be giving that G 1 strum, that D slash F sharp 1 strum, that E minor gets 2. And then you're going to finish that on the A7 again. So then you're just going to drop these 2 fingers right down. And that A7 will get 4 beats. So that full walk down would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that brings us to the chorus, and the chorus chords are really simple. We're just going to have that C add 9 again, to an E minor, to G. The C and the E minor both get 2 beats, and the G gets 4 beats. So that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to play that sequence 4 times through for the chorus. Like I mentioned earlier, it's really helpful if you have the PDF in front of you that you can follow along and see the lyrics and the chords together. So make sure you go to the website and download that PDF and print it off so you can practice along with that. If you enjoyed this lesson, then please hit the like button so I know, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.